Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In today's video, we're going to be jumping down into the world of Polkadot to take a look at the price action of the DOT token and coin. Guys, as we get into this, if you find it useful and informative, then why not go ahead and hit the like button? I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with all the videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and take a look at what is going on here with Polkadot. Okay guys, so we're just going to quickly start off with taking a look at our hourly chart. And there's a few things I kind of want to highlight here. Obviously, it's been a little while since we were actively kind of looking at this one. So I did think it was about time that I actually jumped back into Polkadot to start to talk about what's kind of going on and what was expected. Because most recently, I actually have bought a little bit more Polkadot, as has Chris, I believe. But we'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a moment. We do want to kind of talk about, this kind of move that we had seen previously, but all this is a little bit in the past right now. So I kind of want to really focus in on what is going on right now and what we should be, looking forward to in terms of what is likely to happen next. Now, I'm just going to really zoom in and focus in on this point here. And we can, of course, acknowledge that this is an ABC move. Okay, so we have our A, B, and C move here. Now, this is an incredibly shallow C wave. Okay, and I really want to highlight that to start with. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly remove that off, and I'm going to grab the Fibonacci retracement tool. We're going to grab it from that low wick here, as we push that up into our point of contact at the top here. So this is our A wave, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this and transpose it down over here on top of our B wave. Now I'll put those ABCs back so you can see a little bit clearer what I'm talking about. Here's an A, here's wave B, and wave C is actually here, just above that 618, right? So we actually didn't go down to the 1-to-1 ratio. We had this marked out at $22, as you can see with this blue line at the bottom. So my expectation was to pull back into this range here, but actually we've held up really, really well. And see, I don't generally buy and sell assets and kind of trade out of them unless there's really good reason to do so, or serious worry about something, right? In which case I might park into a stable coin temporarily. In the case of Polkadot here, even though we're looking down at coming down to 22, I was comfortable with just hodling that. It's okay for me. I wasn't overly concerned. With that being said, I actually bought Polkadot over here. Let me just see if I can find that timeline about. Was the 5th, so we're about here. So I bought Polkadot in between these two candles. Okay, so the low point of our A wave here. Okay, so although I was looking at this pullback at the time, I could acknowledge that this was basically an ABC correction in itself, and we thought that this might have been the bottom, right? Because it was quite a significant pullback for Polkadot at the time. And what we do is we actually go ahead and grab hold of this, and we can see we pulled back 17%. So I thought, fine, great opportunity. I'll throw a few $1,000s at Polkadot, right? And I figured that I'll just increase that position a little bit, and then obviously we saw almost instant gratification to that, a bit of a rise up, thinking fantastic, and then obviously a pullback. Now this pullback, as I scoped it out after this bounce, was showing $22. That would have been a better entry point, but obviously we found interesting levels of support just here, and then we started to see the reversal, and again there is a double top happening just up here. So although this is very inconclusive, this kind of trading, there's stuff kind of going on in the background here that we should acknowledge and understand, but we are basically now trading sideways between a couple of key levels. Okay, let me just mop this up here as well so you can see. Okay, so we wicked down towards the 618, but we fell short of it. We then rallied up. We found upper resistance at $26, and then we fell back and we found support at $24.47. And then continuation, we basically hit the resistance and we pulled back down. And right now the stochastic RSI is heading into the oversold area. So we're actually now thinking that this is likely to start to get that traction, that last leg up, right? So if this is an A, B, and C move, we have the double top, we have the A, B, C to the downside. This is the A wave, this is the B wave. We're looking for a bit of a move to the upside. So what I mean by this is if we grab hold of this, we have an A, B, and C. Here we then have our A wave here, B wave, C wave to the downside here, and arguably you could move that up there if you wanted to, which we probably have to be fair, but they will call it that. And then obviously the double top, we hit that area, the ABC, and then obviously ABC down, ABC up and ABC down. We're now looking for an ABC up. Now, these are all real micro movements that are probably a lot more visible on the like 30-minute, 15-minute charts. So if we actually throw those up for a sec, we can see these moves a little bit clearer. You know, they aren't just straight lines as such, right? So here's the ABC here, and we have that move here with an A, a B, and then pretty much a double bottom here. We kind of, you could acknowledge that it's this area. So we'll ride with that. Let's just see how this plays out. ABC here, and then we have our A wave, a B wave, and let's hypothetically say that's our C wave. This then leads us into an interesting ABC up. And I say it's interesting because there's really quite quick motion just there. And then as we continue this, we can see we had that move to the downside, A, B, and C up. And then you have a bigger, clearer move here. So lots of very choppy actions in here, quite indecisive markets, not really knowing what's going on, lots of panic selling and panic buying probably, etc. Then once they get through that kind of choppy action, things become a little bit clearer. And we have this A, B, and C, very definitive move to the downside here. And then you end up with this another definitive move with an A, B, C to the upside here. Again, shorter C wave. And now we are kind of finding this upper area of resistance, trading sideways, pulling back as expected, A, B, and C. And now we're basically ready for that next step to the upside. Okay, and all of these actual moves, they play into bigger patterns on larger time frames, right? So this is one of the reasons we don't tend to spend too much time on the smaller time frames, because it gets very, very confusing, very, very choppy, very noisy for no good reason, right? So I don't tend to like to go down lower than the hourly, but that's kind of what's going on with that kind of sideways trade we are continuing. But with this next kind of leg, we could potentially now see this B wave with a C wave higher, and if we actually bring that up into a slightly larger time frame, we have this kind of going on. It basically takes us right back up into that resistance blocker just up here, and again, we can easily just check this by riding a Fibonacci retracement tool from our low to our high, and we can see that we're pretty much right there on the line. So again, that next move looks like 25.87 approximately, in that kind of range. Of course, that could go impulsive, and this whole thing here could be a 1-2 and then a break to the upside, confirming and retesting that as now support. Too soon to say for certain on the smaller time frame, but it does look like we're getting nicely corrected, and this pattern allows for it. So we should now hopefully be ready to kind of see a little bit more continuation to the upside once this kind of bottoms out for good, which it does feel like it's finally getting to that. Now, if we take a look at the 4 hourly, we can see this also needs corrective, so we might actually find ourselves with another smaller kind of sideways trade, ABC or whatever, just continuation inside here until this gets corrected. If we check the 8 hourly, this is already in the oversold area, so it's looking very good from that perspective. We take a look at the daily, oversold, very, very good from that perspective, and the weekly is also oversold. So as we kind of start to scale up the charts here, you know that the volatility is literally bound to those smaller time frames, and they're really not aligning to what is going on with the bigger picture. The bigger picture is actually looking very, very good for a big push to the upside. The weekly chart, the daily chart, the 8 hourly charts, they're all very, very good and indicating the fact that we're oversold, waiting for that next surge to the upside. So it looks like we are bottoming out on the large time frames, but we are expecting some volatility on the smaller time frames, right? So we're going to see a lot of volatility with the hourly chart, for example, and anything lower than that, we're probably going to see a fair amount of volatility. But in terms of our kind of longer term, picture, and why I was throwing several $1,000s at Polkadot on Wednesday evening, this was pretty much because when we're taking a look at the space, Polkadot definitely hasn't performed in the same kind of league as any of the other assets, really. We've only seen 2,700% growth from August 2020, right? And that's pretty much the data that we have available on Binance here. But when we actually take a look at that kind of same time period for other assets, they perform much better. And therefore, it feels that Polkadot hasn't actually reached its potential yet. And this is for several different things. Obviously, the ecosystem's starting to build up. We didn't have the power auctions yet, obviously, at the time of this kind of move going on. Now we're starting to move and progress nicely with these. We're starting to see projects wanting to kind of launch and start to get things moving on the Polkadot ecosystem. So parachains, para threads, all of these things are starting to really pick up and start to ramp up quite a bit. That means that, I think we're going to start to see some FOMO action for Polkadot, as it hasn't really participated all that well in this particular cycle just yet. But with that being said, we should acknowledge how low this was. You know, back in the day, it was like 199, and we have actually seen a highs as high as $55, right? So we know it's had pretty significant gains, but the gains on the table are still very, very significant. And if I actually go ahead and bring the price down, or put this percentage gains up to where I think it's likely to go onto the current price, if we actually just jump down into our daily chart here for a second, we can acknowledge that, you know, it's about a good, let me actually grab that and move it down. Yeah, it's about 6x potential, right? So pretty much in line with a few other assets that we kind of are looking at, are currently holding. So I didn't just buy Polkadot, I also bought Chainlink. Both of these look like 6x potentials at least, in my opinion. So we have $177 potential here for Polkadot, in my opinion, riding out a 4.236 extension. Obviously, we don't just sell all our DOT at one particular point. We scale out like we would scale in. And it's important that we kind of protect the portfolios that way. But for the most part, it's a 6x. Chainlink looks like a 6x. Most of these projects are now kind of ranging between that kind of 10 to 5x potential, and this is courtesy of that pullback that's happened. So although, you know, if you're just hodling your way through like I am pretty much 99% of the time, you know, then, you know, you're just able to buy more at these points and accumulate more for dollar cost averaging purposes. If you're more of a trading individual, you're selling high and buying low. These are fantastic opportunities in these dips to continue to basically build a portfolio that's absolutely massive ahead of the peak of this bull run where the alt seasons go. So ultimately, Polkadot's actually looking pretty primed and pretty good for, you know, good kind of traction to the upside. Now, we're in a very unique position as well. The fact that we run this YouTube channel, we get a lot of contacts reaching out to us, wanting us to do promotional content for their projects. And most of those projects that have been reaching out to us recently are projects that are launching on Polkadot. This tells me that they're getting ready for marketing campaigns ahead of actually launching, and basically means that they're a lot further down the pipeline than we might actually think that they are already. This is quite encouraging behavior. It basically means that this ecosystem's getting ready to be a thriving ecosystem, and it's going to be something that I think everyone wants to be aware of. This basically makes me want to kind of make sure that I have a good amount in my bag ahead of this. And right now, this is a fantastic opportunity to do just that before we actually start to see this next move to the upside. Overall, the technicals are looking very, very good for the longer term hold. And of course, there is going to be some volatility on the smaller timeframes whilst we work out the bottom of this particular pullback. With that being said, it does feel like it is getting there. Hence, obviously, I went in, Chris went in, and a few other people that I know of were buying up several different assets, including Polkadot at that particular time. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you have found this useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.